Hello everyone. So our next topic is about X-ray diffraction. So what is X-ray diffraction? So please read. Sige, kali na.
What is X-ray diffraction? X-ray diffraction is studies and method used to study the structure of materials at the atomic level.
Yes, thank you. So it works by shining X-rays sa kanang material and then analyzing the X-ray scatter or diffract of the atom inside. So, anong X-ray man? So please read, Kurt.
So, X-ray. These are high energy electromagnetic waves with very short wavelength.
The diffraction.
While diffraction is when waves like X-rays encounter obstacles like atoms in a crystal, they scatter.
So, kabantay mo sa electromagnetic spectrum, ang X-rays na sa pinaka-side dapit. So, kauban sa gamma ray. The short wavelength of X-ray allow them to interact with the atomic structure of the material. That makes them perfect for investigating things as small as atoms, which are about 0.1 nanometer in size. So, since X-ray photons are very energetic, they have a relatively short wavelength in the order of 10 raised to negative 8 meters, so 10 raised to 12 negative 12 meter. Thus, typical X-ray photons act like rays when they encounter macroscopic objects like teeth and produce sharp shadows. However, since atoms are on the order of 0.1 nanometer in size, X-ray can be used to detect the location, shape, and size of atoms and molecules. The atomic process is called X-ray diffraction, and it involves the interference of X-ray to produce patterns that can be analyzed for information about the structures that scattered the X-ray. So, kani short history lang siya. So, historically, the scattering of the X-ray of crystals was used to prove that X-rays are energetic electromagnetic waves. So, this was suspected from the time of the discovery of X-ray in 1895. But it was not until 1912 that the German Max Low in 1879 to 1960 convinced kato siyang mga colleagues na mo-scatter sila X-rays sa crystals. If a diffraction pattern is obtained, he reasoned that the X-ray must be wave and their wavelength could be determined. So the experiment were convinced, and in the 1940 Nobel Prize in Physics was given to Lovelock for his suggestion leading to the proof of X-ray are in a wave. So, and the unique father and son tandem or team of Sir William Henry Bragg and siyang anak ng si Sir William Lawrence Bragg were awarded a joint Nobel Prize for inventing the X-ray spectrometer and the new science of X-ray analysis. So in the realms of the thin film interference, we consider two plane waves at X-ray wavelength. Each one reflecting off a different plane of atoms within a crystallis shown in figure 4.7.2. So, mga siya kong figure. geometry, the difference in path length is 2Ds in the constructive interference result when this distance is an integer multiple. Ang integer is a whole number like negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 2, 3, So, this one condition is captured by the Braggs equation. So, maano siya ang Braggs equation. So, ang M is mo siya positive integer, and ang D is ang distance. Kani distance sa Tapos, ang theta niya is kanang angle. Angle sa then, so, mo ni siya. Then, ang uban na video sa YouTube ang is M lang ginagamit. So, kita ang yung M lang yung pinakunang nasa module. Then, mo niya ang sample problem. Please read Shine.
Common tabletop is composed mainly on NaCl crystals. In a NaCl crystal, there is a family of planes circling 252 nanometer apart. The first order maximum is observed at an incidence angle of 18.1 degree. What is the wavelength of the X-ray scattering from this crystal?
So, ganito problem sa pangita nato ang wavelength sa X-ray ng scatter gikan sa crystal. So, mao ni siya yung solution. So, ang 2 is constant na siya, girahan na siya din. Kaning sa distance na to, meter man ang gamit dyan, so pwede na nato direksyon yun na 0.252 nanometer. Tinasa mag-convert pa. So, since then yung kuhaan is 18.1. Ano man siya? Kaning M1. Ito sa first order maximum. So, first order na. So next slide is review siya na pangasabtan pag-yun kung saan kuhaan. X-ray diffraction, asa pa siya gamiton. Asa pa siya nagamit.
In an X-ray diffraction experiment, a sample is placed into the center of an instrument and illuminated with a beam of X-rays. The X-ray tube and the detector move in a synchronized motion. The signal coming from the sample is recorded in graph, where peaks are observed related to the atomic structure of the sample. Most materials are made up of many small crystals, like sand on a beach. Each of these crystals is composed of a regular arrangement of atoms, and each atom is composed of a nucleus surrounded by a cloud of electrons. It's at this scale the story of X-ray diffraction begins. X-rays are high-energy light with a repeating period called wavelength. Since the wavelength of X-ray is similar to the distance between atoms in a crystal, a special interference effect called diffraction can be used to measure the distance between the atoms. Interference occurs when X-rays interact with each other. If the waves are in a plane, the signal is amplified. This is called constructive interference. If the waves are out of alignment, the signal is destroyed. This is called destructive interference. When an X-ray encounters an atom, its energy is absorbed by the electrons. The electrons occupy special energy states around an atom. Since this is not enough energy for the electron to be released, the energy must be re-emitted in the form of a new X-ray, the same energy as the original. This process is called elastic scattering. In a crystal, the repeating arrangement of atoms form distinct planes separated by well-defined distances. When the atomic planes are exposed to an X-ray beam, X-rays are scattered by the regularly spaced atoms. Strong amplification of the emitted signal occurs at very specific angles, where the scattered waves constructively interfere. This is called diffraction. The angle between the incident and scattered beam is called 2 theta. order for constructive interference to occur, the scattered waves must be in alignment, meaning that the second wave must travel a whole number of wavelengths. In this case, one half of the wavelength is traveled on the incident side, and one half on the scattered side, yielding one additional wavelength. In the case of the next entry, one wavelength is traveled on both the incident and the scattered side, resulting in two wavelengths. This reinforcement occurs throughout the prism. The exact angle at which diffraction occurs can be determined from the red triangle. The angle at the top is theta, half the angle between the incident and scattered beams. The long side is the distance between the atomic planes. The short side, we know, is one half of the wavelength. The relationship between the diffraction angle and the spacing between the atoms can be determined by applying the sine function. Rearranging this equation yields an equation commonly known as Bragg's law, named after Sir William Henry and William Lawrence Bragg, a father-son team who won the Nobel Prize in 1915 for their work analyzing crystal structures with X-ray diffraction. This technique of X-ray diffraction is used today for a wide variety of materials, ranging from the single crystal epitaxial thin films to polycrystalline mixtures and powders, and even randomly oriented amorphous materials. X-ray diffraction helps scientists to develop new pharmaceuticals, classify rock formations based on their mineral components, and understand how the arrangement of atoms affects the behavior of energy storage materials. As scientists push their ability to engineer materials on the atomic level, X-ray diffraction becomes an increasingly important tool in their toolbox. Advances in equipment design have made X-ray diffraction easier to use and more powerful than ever.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.